Today's date is July 26th, and this weekend we are going to be filming a little short film I like to call Monkey Jones Stops a School Shooting. It is difficult for me to look at this video because it represents the high point of my life. It was July 26, 2018, not even a full year ago, and I was living my best life. All of my wildest dreams had come true, and they were culminating in a single weekend where I would be making my greatest video ever with all of my best friends. I had achieved my dream of having a successful YouTube channel. I shared a home with a loving, supporting, beautiful girlfriend. I'd become friends with people who I'd once only been fans of, and together we were all gonna make a movie that represented my entire creative career up to that point. So how, in less than a year's time, did I go from living my absolute best life to living my worst? Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I got myself into this situation. Well, it all started. To be clear, this video is not a pity video. I'm not trying to make anybody feel sorry for me, ever. My whole goal from the very beginning has always been to just tell my own story. And yes, things like depression and suicidal thoughts and other mental illnesses are part of my story, but they're not an excuse. I have been very much misrepresented by some people out there. I have never, ever excused my behavior with mental illness or being in a dark place. Never. There is a difference between a motive and an excuse. Did I do things because of the way I felt? Yes, that's what being a human is. But do I take responsibility for those actions? Of course I do. I might be a cheater, I might be a liar, I might be, to some, a manipulator, but I'm definitely not one to blame my personal choices and actions on depression or suicide. Will I say that I made those choices knowing full well I would not be facing the consequences because I was planning on being dead? Yes, but that doesn't make me innocent. It makes me a selfish prick. But that's what we're dealing with. That's what we've been dealing with, is trying to overcome who I am and just be honest about it. And that's what I've been trying to do. And some people seem to hate me so much that even the honest truth isn't enough for them. So that's what I'm here to do today. Not to get anybody's pity, but to just tell my story of what I've been up to in the last month or so and what the future is going to look like. And I'll say right off the top, I know there are lots of people out there who now hate me and think that I am a disgusting, horrible person. And about even up to a week ago, I completely agreed with you. I don't think I'm that great of a person either. Never pretended to be. I've always been an edgy comedian and entertainer on the internet. Why you would expect that person to have the virtue of a priest, I don't know. But my point is, I know people feel that way about me, and it's okay, and I don't blame you. I don't blame anyone for the way they feel about me at all. If you still want to support me, then that means, despite my faults, I'm still meaningful or entertaining to you, so that's awesome. If you hate me, you think I'm disgusting, you can't separate maybe art from the artist, or you just can't support or encourage somebody who has done bad things, that is also completely understandable. Some people will probably go on and build entire careers online just making videos about me and my personal life. And that is also fine. If I couldn't put up with it, I would just quit. So no matter what your personal reaction is to any of this, anything revolving around me, I promise you, it's okay. Anything is okay. And we'll get into that. Not too long ago, Dick Masterson celebrated his 5-year anniversary of podcasting, starting about 5 years ago with the Biggest Problem in the Universe podcast. And this milestone for him really got me reflecting on my own life and how much things could change. Because 5 years ago, those 5 years ago, when Dick Masterson started doing that podcast, I was not Monkey Jones. I was a college student. I think I would have been maybe a sophomore at that time, living in my parents' house in my childhood bedroom. And I discovered that podcast and I really liked it. And I was a big fan, and that's all I was. I was going to school to be an English teacher, preferably in a high school setting. I was a fan of this podcast. I really liked the hosts, Dick Masterson and Maddox. But my favorite part of the podcast was Asterios Kokonos, a guy who would come in from time to time and be a guest or barge in without being invited. Or I thought he was the bee's knees, the funniest part of the show by far. I even left a voicemail saying as much that Dick ended up playing on the Dick show because he never played it on the original show. But I got to thinking about how much life can change for everybody, where the life path I was on when I started listening to that show is 100% different from where I was a year ago, and now is 100% different from where I am today. I went from being a fan with no name recognition, no character, no channel, just a fan of a podcast, to doing my own popular podcast with my favorite host from that show. I went from being a fan of a guy and listening to a show that he's on to doing a show with him and having that guy be one of my best friends. Over the span of 5 years, that's just one of the many ways that everything can change. It would be like if any of you at home who just listens to me and Asterios or just watches my videos, it'd be like if 5 years from now, you and me were doing a show together, going on tour around the country together. You wouldn't even think that would happen because it just seems so random. Why would I have ever imagined as a student going into education, oh yeah, one day me and Asterios are going to go on tour? There's that doesn't cross your mind. And a year ago, when we were filming that movie, Monkey Jones Stops the School Shooting, none of this crossed my mind either. I never would have guessed that I would lose the channel, lose some of the friends, lose the house, lose the relationship, obviously. All these things that were making my life perfect in less than a year would be gone. Most of it being my fault, some of it being out of my hands, but most of it being completely my fault. And it's this idea that I feel like I've reached the height. I feel like I've lived my best life. And that has been painful. Because nobody should achieve all of their dreams at the age of 22 or 23. And then have every single one of them destroyed. It has been it's been difficult. And the last month, we went from the highest high last year, this last month has been the lowest low. And I'm not here to complain because spoiler alert, I am now at peace. I am now at peace, and we'll get into that. But I just want to clarify, this isn't for pity or autism bucks. You can still hate me after you hear this. I just want to tell my story because that's the whole point of all of this, is that I'm just your entertainment. It's not just the things I write. At this point, my entire existence, just my day-to-day life, for some of these people, is entertainment. Some guy who's, I guess, now out mowing is now part of the narrative of this show that you're watching on a screen, because my whole life is, for a lot of you, just a show. Are we really going to listen to that the whole time? So the last month has been very difficult, but I wanted to talk about the things that made it better. And first of all, one of my main issues is that I could no longer eat. This is back when I was still living in Raleigh with sheep over, and just everything about my life was bubbling up inside. And I think it was just severe anxiety and depression coming together, along with like a mental crisis. But I couldn't eat, and I really couldn't sleep. And for about 3 weeks straight, I was eating less than 400 calories a day. So I lost about a pound. I lost about a pound a day. And it was looking really scary, but Sheepover came up with a brilliant solution. It's these Ensure Plus nutritional shakes. And these are a lifesaver. I will say, not only are they genuinely fucking delicious, like a delicious dessert that I would eat just for fun. Oh my god, it is seriously so good. But it comes with like all the vitamins you need. Vitamin A, iron, vitamin K, all that shit. Like it's for people who don't get their vitamins. And I was malnourished at the time. So these literally saved my life. I'm so glad Sheepover found them. I'm able to eat much better these days, but I still really enjoy these. So Ensure, I'm serious. If you guys have ever wanted to sponsor a guy who cheated on his girlfriend with a furry pedophile, I will sponsor you for free if you just send me a box of this in like a month. If you're ever like having an anxiety month and you can't eat, for real, this could save your life. Even if you hate me and you think I'm a scumbag, that's fine. But if you take anything away from this, you should drink these. But wait, that's not all. Because I also got something else that saved my life. And it's called apathy. That's right, folks. I've never had an SSRI before, but I was getting so bad. I was so deep into not being able to eat, not being able to sleep, constantly in physical pain and shaking. Go to the doctor right before I move, and I let her know everything that's going on. Just give her everything. Because I wanted to get some medicine to help me, and she prescribed me paroxetine, 20 milligrams. First time I've ever been on any of these. And they say it probably might not work, right? These pills, it's like a 40% chance that one will work, and then you gotta try different ones and all that. So I don't know. I've been taking it for maybe 3 weeks now. And the first time I did it, I thought it had killed me. I went to the doctor's, I go back in the car, take the first pill. And as I'm driving home, my chest starts to hurt so incredibly bad, like I'm having a heart attack. And I have high blood pressure, as you all know. And that's a loud mower out there. I have the high blood pressure, so I thought I might have actually been having a stress-induced heart attack. So I make my way home, and I collapse on the couch. Like my chest is just fucking gonna explode like a balloon. It's being inflated, and my arms and legs went completely numb. But I'm like a rag doll, tossing and turning on the couch, screaming. And Sheepover comes in, and we thought I was gonna die, and we called an ambulance. And paramedics came, but I was like, no, I'm not touching the ambulance. I'll die before I get in the ambulance, you know. But they said it was just a panic attack, which I thought was weird. I thought I was having some sort of maybe allergic reaction to the medicine or a heart attack or something, because right when I took the pills when it started. But it was just a panic attack, and I learned the proper ways to make those subside next time I feel them coming on. And ever since then, I haven't had a full-blown one yet. And I was very scared to, but I kept taking these pills. And the effect has been life-changing. From taking these pills almost a month, I have lost all the pain I feel. I always read that these sort of pills really zombified people, made them super drowsy, they lost their personality, they lose their emotions, and it's mostly true, but it's not bad. I've stopped really caring about anything, and I did for a long time. At least negative emotions. So, like a lot of the guilt and pain is still there, but it doesn't hurt. Like I don't feel physical pain. It's easier to eat now. I just had Chinese leftovers for lunch. And I think what the pills have helped me realize is I should just be focusing on the things in life that make me happy, because it's numbing all of my senses. But there are still things that are bringing me immense joy. And I would like to talk about some of them. This is my baby kitten Blaze. Today he is 2 months old exactly. He just hit 8 weeks. My cousin's cat had babies, and I went over to visit them. I wasn't planning on getting a cat of my own yet. It was something I thought about since I enjoyed having Tuna so much. And this cat was immediately drawn to me. He's a boy. They said that his name was Blaze as a joke, but I liked it. And he just wanted to sit on me, and he didn't want to leave me alone. And I fell in love with him immediately, because he was Tuna. We adopted when she was 3, so she was a little slow to warm up. And I always wished Tuna would come, you know, sit on my lap and all that, because I just wanted to feel the cat's affection. And this cat gave me that immediately, and he's just so cute. And specifically, he wanted to be with me. So I couldn't say no. I had to take him home right away. Didn't even have a carrier for him, so I just had him sit on my lap in the car, but he wanted to climb up onto my shoulder the whole time and ride on my shoulder like a Pikachu in Pokemon. And he was just having the time of his life sitting on my shoulder looking out the window. And right when we got home, I laid down in bed, and he just climbs up onto the bed and falls asleep on my chest. And after feeling so little from the pills the last few weeks, I was filled with so much joy just having this little baby kitten there who just wants to be my best friend. And ever since he got here, I've stopped feeling lonely. I've stopped desperately trying to make my friends come visit me. You want to go down, buddy? Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. I was really excited to show off Blaze, but I need to continue the actual story. So Sheepover and I did end up going to couples therapy. Both of us thought it would be a good idea, and it was. It's interesting. All of my life, my story with depression and suicide has been that oh no, the pills are evil. Therapy is useless. Oh, what are we gonna do? But now, these things I'm finding. Oh, there's a cat playing around on the floor. I'm finding these things that I thought were useless to actually be useful, folks. Pills, very useful, and the therapy, the couples therapy, for both of us was really so great. I felt understood, probably for one of the only times. It was nice to talk about mental health with somebody who has studied it, people who have been scholars of it for longer than the people who usually tell me how to feel about my mental health, for longer than they've been alive. Some of these 18 and 19-year-old kids who are on Discord talking about me 15 hours a day, believe it or not, they're not the experts in mental health services compared to a therapist who has been practicing longer than they've been breathing. So it was nice, and she was very helpful for both of us. And after seeing her 2 times, Sheepover and I knew it would be better for me to move back to Iowa to be closer to my friends and family, and really just to start over in life. Could we have stayed together? Probably, but we both just knew it would be the best if we went our separate ways, specifically with me coming to live here. Sorry, the cat is playing in Jumpkey's lap now, and I'm scared that his sharp claws are gonna pop our poor friend. So I moved. We said goodbye to the goats, packed up all my stuff, had a lot of really good talks with Sheepover, and my dad came down. We loaded up a moving truck and spent 17 hours driving from North Carolina back to Iowa. I bought my own place, which I'll give you a tour of. This is my house. I'm not living with mom and dad like you guys are. Sorry. Everybody trying to say I moved in with my parents, I guarantee are living with their own parents. No, bought my own place, bought my own car. I buy my own everything. I'm an adult. Speaking of which, let's give a tour of the house. Okay, we've got Blaze hanging out with Jumpkey, but here's the new office. Obviously, it's still a work in progress. Uh-oh, he wants to fight. Still got a lot of work to do in here. This is one of the least unpacked rooms. Just have a normal bathroom in there. Here's a tiny room that I don't know what to do with yet. It's all blurry. In real life, not just on the camera. Still have to unpack a lot of this garbage, but it's just a bunch of shit. Here's the living room. Bought a new couch, and Sheep didn't want that old couch. And yeah, got plenty of room to have a bunch of friends over and watch TV, a bunch of games and shit that you might recognize. There's the treadmill. Here's the cat's room. I don't know how far away their shitter is supposed to be from their dinner, but you know, he hasn't complained yet. Yeah, I like these things. You just put in a bunch of food and water, and you can forget about it for like a week, and it just automatically keeps itself. But then he also really likes wet food with lots of gravy. So I give him that all the time too. He can't get enough. He licks the fucking bowl clean. Normal ass kitchen. A washer and dryer that I actually need to do my laundry.
And here's my bedroom. Oh, here comes the cat. Oh, he loves hiding under the bed. Anyway, I need to make my bed clearly, but whatever. I'm trying to keep an eye on the cat. Look at him. Look at him. That should be the doctor prescribed cure for everything, not just medication, but you have to get a baby kitten too. Never go furniture shopping while intoxicated. Don't know why I bought that. I only have one pair of pants. And then here is my master bathroom. That's me, as Elliot Rodger might say. I got another one of these big tubs. Shower, and yeah. So that's it.
When your whole life comes crashing down and it feels like you've lost everything, including yourself, and you realize, oh, yeah, I'm the bad guy. I've been horrible. I've treated people horribly. And a lot of people hate me. You've really come to know and appreciate the people who still love and care about you. And I think what this has taught me most of all is to be there for those who need it, and to forgive, and to be a positive force in the world, to avoid grudges or revenge or anything like that. And this is just my takeaway. Again, I don't care what anybody else does. I medically am incapable of caring, and I mean that. You guys can literally do whatever you want to me. It doesn't matter anymore. I'll put my money where my mouth is, because my mouth is on these pills. But personally, I don't want to fester in that anymore. One of my favorite films from the other year was 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, and the whole message of the film that I loved and said it was my favorite of the year is that violence begets violence. Revenge and hatred and grudges, they just feed into each other forever and ever and ever. Somebody does something to me, so I do something back, so they do something to me, so I do something back. And I've realized and it's probably just because of the pills, but I really don't care about any of it anymore. So I'm going to just withdraw from all drama. Internet drama doesn't really matter to me anymore. I think I want to focus on real life and the things that make me happy in reality, not in the digital world. So I have a lot of things and friends and really people that I would like to acknowledge for being there for me when I was at my lowest point, when I seemed perhaps unforgivable, unredeemable, any of those things. These people were still there for me. And if I could do for others what these people did for me to keep me feeling loved, to keep me feeling worth being alive, if I could only project out those good feelings onto people from now on, instead of putting somebody in the situation where they feel like life isn't worth living. I don't know. And maybe I'll change. Maybe this is just a brief epiphany. But I really have no interest anymore in negativity insofar as getting my kicks through the pain of others. So with that being said, I don't care about Asperger anymore, or any of it. any drama I've ever had with anybody online, I don't care anymore. I'll still talk about it when people ask. I'm not going to censor myself. But as far as like doing the Asperger auction, I'm just gonna use the pots and pans until he comes to pick them up. You know? I'll donate my own money to the same charity. Because while it was for a noble cause, at the end of the day, it is still just kicking a guy, you know? Whether or not he deserves it, I don't care anymore. I don't care. I just want to live my own life and focus on what makes me happy. Not care about other people's opinions of me, and try to not tear other people down, regardless of if they deserve it. Which is why I would like to give an acknowledgement to as many people as possible who have been there for me and have helped me, because they are people who are precious to me, and I want to thank them. And first and foremost, Sheepover, she is the true victim in all of this. She's the only one in this entire situation who I think has done nothing wrong to anybody. She continued to always be kind to me throughout all of this. She was willing to work with me. She was willing to make sacrifices to make sure that I would be okay. And I've heard lots of rumors from people saying things like that, oh, she also cheated on me. It's not true. Sheepover has, and I mean this, in the 3 or so years that I knew her, she has literally never done anything wrong to me. And that's what really makes this so incredibly horrible, that I did this horrible thing to her. I'm sorry. There's nothing I can really do to make the pain of other people go away. I could try my best, and I really have. But right now, I think the best I can do is hope to at least stop the pain from getting worse. So the people who think that she did anything wrong in any of this, she didn't. She's never done anything wrong to me. She never cheated on me or anything like that. It's just ridiculous. And she's now alone down there, and if you are friends with her, like on Discord or anything, please be there for her. Be a friend to her so that she doesn't have to suffer in loneliness because of me. She's always been really great, and I've already, you guys don't really need to know all the specifics of what we've talked about. Nobody needs to know. But I think she and I are on pretty good terms. She still sends me pictures of tuna all the time, which I really appreciate. Also, Asterios and Sarancha have been very kind and accommodating. I was supposed to be going on the Boomer versus Zoomer tour with Asterios these last few weeks, but then I was caught up in moving and being unable to even function as a human for a long time until I got my insurer, but I left it in the other room. So thanks to them for understanding and doing the shows without me, and Sarancha was evidently funnier than I would have been anyway, so it was probably best for the shows. Will I be doing the rest of the tour? I still don't know. I've got a lot of friends who have kept me company here, and they've come down as often as possible to hang out with me and to make me feel less alone. So I wanted to thank Biggs and Ashton and my brother Patchy and his roommate, Mr. White, and even guys online like Rusty Cage and Emp Lemon. They've been there for me, messaging me all the time to make sure I'm okay and to talk to me about what's been going on. Those two have been really great throughout all of this. I feel bad. I don't want to forget anybody, and I feel like I'm going to. My parents, obviously. My dad has been the absolute best. I mean, he drove 17 hours pretty much straight to help fix one of my mistakes. He doesn't really give me much judgment. He just wants what's best for me. Both of my parents do, and they've made that clear that they're willing to help me get to where I need to be, and without too much judgment of my stupid actions in life. And people have probably been waiting, half an hour now for me to talk about the Mr. Meatman video. I feel like I've already addressed it on Twitter. I don't really have a whole lot else to say about it, other than like the main things he said, like tell the narrative of what happened was pretty much accurate, but I think some of the details were lost in translation, are mixed up, or really just interpreted intentionally to make me seem malicious, when really I haven't tried to be malicious to anybody. I was just in love with two different people and selfishly wanted to be with both of them until I died. I wasn't trying to be a horrible person. But after that video came out, some guy who went to high school with Mr. Meatman messaged me, and he's like, "Oh man, I fucking hate this guy," and he sent me his photo and his name and proof and all that it was real. And he's like, "Oh yeah, man, he doxed you, you could do it back." And I don't want to do that. And as I was thinking of what I would say in this video, which the title, of course, is a pun, because I still have a self-deprecating sense of humor, folks. I haven't changed that much. But I thought, wouldn't that be funny in the part where I'm listing off all my friends, if I just threw in Mr. Meatman's real name as one of my friends, but I didn't acknowledge it. And I didn't dox him or anything, I just said it. So like nobody would think twice about it, but it would really make him freak out. But I only had that thought for like 10 seconds. And then I realized, what's even the fucking point? Like, what? Yeah, okay, so I'm fucking with him. Like, I'm getting revenge without really doing anything wrong. It's not really a threat. It's just to make his blood pressure increase. But why would I even do that? Like, it's just gonna make people who hate me more. And what is even the point? I really don't know. When Asperger tried to get my Vimeo account removed by falsely copyright striking music that we collaborated on together, committing perjury punishable by the courts, my first reaction was to do the Asperger auction. I had a card. He left shit at my house. I could just sell it and give the money to a thing that's essentially mocking his horrible crime, right? And people loved it. It was great drama. It was great buzz. Everything about it was great. Almost 100,000 views. People they're gonna donate money to charity to say fuck you to a dumb big asshole. It's all great, right? But it didn't make me any happier to plan it. It was fun. It would have probably made him look bad and made me look good. It was honest, everything about it was real, but it was motivated by vengeance. It was a knee-jerk, oh, you want to do this to me? Fuck you then. I'll do something right back. Fuck you, do something about it. But then he will do something about it. And it's just back and forth forever. You know? So I don't see the point. And I don't know if I came to that conclusion because of what happened or just because my brain has been altered completely. My dad told me on the drive here that I seem like a different person. He felt like my personality was different. And that seemed really strange to me. But I've also been having trouble just with my memory of remembering things that I've done in the past as far back as really anything before like 2013. Like really my early college years and all of high school and all of that. I'm really having trouble remembering being there. So I hope it's not like a personality change, but it has been very frustrating trying to figure things out. So with all that being said, when I was proven to be a scumbag who hurt people, who did bad things, the people who loved and cared about me were still there for me. Not because they support what I did. Nobody supports the bad things that people do. But it's the love you feel for those people is what propels you to want to help them redeem themselves. You want them to be better people because you care about them, and maybe you know that this isn't who they are and that they're a great person who made mistakes, and you need to give them all the love you can to help them feel better, to be better, to fix their mistakes. And so many people did that for me, and frankly I refuse to not be there for the people who I love, even when they make mistakes. Which is why Lou the kitty, this girl who now everybody is doing a lynch mob against and they all hate her, I don't hate her at all. And in fact, I still love her just as much as I did when I was cheating on Sheepover with her. And it's true, I did not know about her prior relationships while she and I were together, and I was very upset to learn about them and disgusted, and for a short time I did feel hatred for her for some of the things she had done and said, even about me, things that I didn't even think were all that true or relevant for anybody else to know. But while she was in the hospital, she called me a lot, and I just felt like I needed to help her feel better. And that's the feeling. When you really love and care about somebody, no matter how bad they fuck up, you will still want to help them get better. And I know she's not a bad person. I know she's one of the nicest, sweetest people. So I still want to pursue a relationship with her and see if we can make each other happy and just focus on real life and not on the internet. So I know this is probably what's going to make most people upset with me, and most people will probably want to stop watching my content because of it. And I understand. Like I said earlier, I understand every reaction. It's fine. It's fine if everybody hates me, because I now have a baby kitten that makes me so happy. I have a girl that makes me so happy. I am independent. I have my own house. I have my own car. A year ago, I might have been living my best life. But now it's really on me to decide whether or not I can live my best life again. It won't be the same life as before. In fact, it'll be almost completely different. But I still have the power to craft what would be a perfect life for myself. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to focus wholeheartedly every day of my existence on the things that make me happy. And one of those things is doing this internet stuff. I love making videos. I love doing podcasts. I love making comedy. I love entertaining people. And even if I lose all of my support, that Patreon dries up to $0, nobody's watching anymore, as long as I'm still having fun making videos, I'm gonna keep making them. I'm gonna keep doing podcasts. I'm gonna keep doing all the things that you guys like to see from me. And if I have to, I'm not gonna close my comment sections. I'm not gonna disable ratings. I don't care if it's all thumbs down and all that. As long as there are still people who are being entertained, people who are still enjoying the content, I'm gonna be happy making it, and they're gonna be happy watching it, and everybody else can be angry and upset about it, and it doesn't really matter, because I no longer feel like I need to read everything. It used to be I would read every single comment. I would always be scrolling through Twitter, scrolling through Reddit. But in the last few weeks, I haven't felt the need to do any of that. And I do also think it's because of the pills, but it's like I don't care what random people on the internet are saying about me anymore, at all. It's really great. I think apathy is the answer to how social media's destruction of our generation. If you've listened to these SOTY podcasts at all, we've often come to the conclusion that social media is destroying the fabric of society and that children shouldn't even be allowed on it because it's so poisonous. And I think avoiding it is not only the best thing for me, it's the best thing for just about everybody. It has really been helpful to my psyche to not constantly be reading what things are being said online. Even the supportive things, and a lot of people, when I was thanking people, I should have thanked everybody who has messaged me privately saying, "Hey man, keep your chin up. We believe in you. You can get past this. We know you'll redeem yourself." I'm sorry I haven't replied to most of them. Please don't take it personally. I've had a lot of people come out against me recently just because they thought I was ignoring them. And the fact of the matter is I am a pretty antisocial person. I do like just a lot of the time being alone in my own bubble, but that doesn't mean I don't feel loneliness. You know, I mean, I think it's stupid to assume everybody needs to have the social standing of a Chad at all times, complete confidence and never feeling anything negative. But the point is, I'm just not a super talkative person. It might seem that way in some of these videos, but when I'm hanging out with my friends, or really anybody, I feel like I don't talk a whole lot, and I don't really like to. I just like to be around people, really. So I'm sorry to the hundreds of people who have messaged me who I didn't reply to, but I would be replying to messages all day. Like it'd be a full-time job. So don't take it personally. I read a lot of them that get DM'd and emailed to me, and I mean, they mean a lot to me. I can't reply to all of them, and if I do, it's like what I had to write a dissertation every time. If people compare notes, they'll say, "Oh, you just gave us the same reply. What an even bigger asshole." It's impossible to communicate with so many different people like that. Okay, so what am I gonna do to make my life what I want it to be? One, I'm gonna keep making the videos and the podcasts and all that. I want to keep streaming on Twitch, all the things that I enjoy. Even if I stop making money from it and I go off and get a different job, these are still things that I want to do, even just for fun. This isn't me making a video begging you to let me keep my job. I've already said I don't care what you do at all. None of you could watch me ever again. Trust me, it's fine. I'm not focused on the internet anymore. I'm gonna make videos for the internet and podcasts and all that. But when I'm not doing those things for fun, I'm gonna be hanging out with Blaze, hanging out with Lou, hanging out with all my friends who I moved here to be with, hanging out with my family, going to movies. All the things in life that make me happy, I'm going to be doing. And that's it. That's it. That's my story. That's I think the enlightenment. When you have to reach the point where they can't hurt you anymore. And you don't care. If you can just be apathetic and not care about what other people think, you can live your best life. I think most anxiety and stress comes from other people's expectations of you. And if you don't let random strangers have power over you, you can flourish just living the life you want to live. And that's what I'm going to do from now on. I'm going to live my best life again because I've done it before. And I know I can do it again. It's just going to be more personal based rather than career focused. And yet I'm still going to keep doing the career stuff to the best of my abilities. I'm going to keep making the videos I want to make the way I want to make them, because it's fun to me. That's the state of affairs.